Good evening. My name is Fazayi Mashiri. I'm a livestock and natural resources advisor for the University of California Cooperative Extension. And I cover two counties here in the Central Valley, Merced and Mariposa, and I'm also county director in Mariposa County. So just to contribute to this topic, I guess, where we are trying to look at what are some of the options for improving economic returns on rangelands outside the typical conventional livestock production. I'm going to talk about payment for ecosystem services, which is like a different kind of approach where we are looking at additional land-based payments or financial returns that we can get from land-based management strategies. And this presentation is mainly based on a research that I was involved with. Here is the title of the research right here, where we're looking at payment for ecosystem service marketplace that is being created, mostly focused towards rangeland owners as well as other ag producers. So maybe to begin, what is ecosystem services? I'm sure most of you guys are aware of what ecosystem services are. So ecosystem services are the benefits that we obtain from ecosystems. And I think the most interesting thing is before the focus on ecosystem services, people mostly focused on what are the direct benefits that landowners get from their land. And those products are mostly covered here in the provisioning ecosystem service type, which is like food production, fiber production, biomass, fuel, and some that are beneficial for other people, fresh water and natural medicine. But for me, the most interesting thing is that with ecosystem services, we are also looking at the benefits that don't necessarily go to the landowner themselves, but benefits that are going to people that are in the vicinity of the land that is being managed or stewarded by rangers in this example, but also even like global implications could also be seen, especially now that we are talking about carbon sequestration and how that can actually impact things like climate. So some of the ecosystem services are regulating ecosystem services, air quality, climate, water quality or runoff, erosion, natural hazards, pollination or supporting, nutrient cycling, water cycling, soil formation and photosynthesis, as well as cultural, ethical value or ecotourism. One of the most interesting things for me working in Mariposa is I see a lot of people that are visiting Yosemite and they are in the foothill area where on 140 coming down, maybe going back to the Bay Area or any other place that they're coming from. They stop there, they take pictures of cows or these open rangelands. Sometimes I think when people go through or do those things, they don't even associate it with the management benefits that are coming from these people that are managing these rangelands. So I think for me, that's one of the things that we really need to kind of capture and make people understand. And I think that's what makes payment for ecosystem services really make sense, because the people are not only benefiting from their own management, but overall other people within the vicinity or globally are benefiting as well. Okay, so with this research, what we did was to do a survey of the Ecosystem Service Market Consortium. That's the members of the corporate people that are trying to create like this marketplace for ecosystem services, we wanted to do a survey to just kind of understand what is driving them to want to create this marketplace. And most of the members of this consortium are members of the food and agriculture industry. And on the other side, we also wanted to kind of survey rangers to understand what are some of their soil conservation priorities and how do they see themselves benefiting from such a marketplace if established, or when it actually comes in full force and become functional. So right here, what I'm just trying to demonstrate is some of the ecosystem payment for ecosystem service programs that are available already. Some of them have already been discussed, like the niche marketing products. And then there are also certifications that people have been put in place to kind of increase the returns based on management strategies that are being used, like organic certified or grass-fed certified. And then I added some that we didn't have in our publication, like the animal welfare approved certification, and then the ecological outcomes verified certificate. And then there's like uncertified farmers market products. One of the things that came to my mind when I was looking at this as an example is the, in Mariposa, they created this Made in Mariposa certificate, which just kind of makes people want to buy local. So things like that could be an example of some of the uncertified farmers market products. And then payment for ecosystem service programs, regulated compliance. We know about the cap and trade requirements, where people are supposed to, are required to at least buy some carbon offsets if they are producing more carbon dioxide than they are allocated for their different enterprises. And I guess there are other people that are more environmentally conscious that would go into voluntary market payment for ecosystem services. They are not required, but they just feel they want to buy those carbon offsets. And other examples are also like government programs that are available, Farm Bill programs, the Williamson Act. And it was really interesting for us to even see like the extension service be considered as one of the government programs, considering that for landowners, extension services are free for them, and they can benefit and actually improve their productivity of their land, lands. And some of the examples of the government Farm Bill programs are the EQIP program, the Conservation Stewardship program, the Grassland Reserve program, and conservation easements, of course. And here in California, the Healthy Soils program come to mind. So I think since this audience is mostly like small landowners, it'll be interesting. I think it'll be incumbent on you guys to really kind of understand what programs you can qualify for to apply, whether like the Healthy Soils programs, you would qualify to apply for that or not, if there's any limitation or any cutoff in terms of the land size that is required to be covered by a program like that. But I just wanted to share some of these examples of programs so you can go out and look into them and see if there are any that you can actually use and improve returns on your lands. So in the research that we did, what we found out was the goals for the corporate organizations was mostly, in addition to, of course, carbon offsets that I've mentioned above, where people are buying carbon sequestration rights on other people's land. They also mentioned that they were interested in carbon insetting, which is trying to facilitate the implementation of practices on this land that lower carbon dioxide emissions. And some of the practices that could contribute towards that are compost application or cover crops, or maybe planting of deep-rooted plants in some of these rangelands. And then the other thing was financial incentives for sustainable transition. One of the things that we all know is that when people, let's say you are going from conventional livestock production and you want to go organic, it takes a little bit for you to be able to get there. So, or if you want to do a compost application, you need at least some funds to be able to actually implement that practice before you can actually get returns from those. And then the other thing was also building long-term resilience in their food chain and establishing scientific protocols. I think that's one of the main challenges of the payment for ecosystem services. How do we actually establish the value for some of these like carbon sequestered on these rangelands, and how can we quantify the amount of carbon dioxide that is sequestered in on these ecosystems as well. But for ranchers, their main focus was soil health to minimize soil erosion and increase water retention, which will translate to higher production. And also the other focus was preservation, mainly to prevent development in these environments, in these ecosystems. So some of the benefits that can be at least achieved through some of the payment ecosystem service programs is opportunities to mitigate risk by diversifying income sources, and then increasing profit margins. We all know that ranching, the profit margins tend to be on the lower side. So anything that can increase that profit margin, it could be payment for ecosystem services, it could be selling grass-fed beef, or any other of these programs is definitely kind of welcome. And then improve soil health, which tends to increase nutrient cycling or nutrient availability for plants to grow. Also improves water circulation, leads to improved plant and animal productivity, increase biodiversity, both of animals and plants, and also increase ecosystem resilience. And overall, I think at a large landscape level can contribute towards climate mitigation. But I think what we really also need to think about is some of those challenges that come with trying to establish this payment for ecosystem service programs, both on the producer side as well as on the marketplace side. One of the challenges is this requirement for measurable augmentation of soil carbon, especially in ecosystems like California ecosystems, which are arid and semi-arid ecosystems, where there's high fluctuations in climatic conditions, which let's say if you would have signed for ecosystem service measurements this year, you would definitely not be winning at getting most of the carbon sequestration or most of the carbon content in your soils high enough. But if you had signed up in a year that was a good average to more above average climatic conditions, then that will be a totally different story. So that complicates things a little bit in some of our ecosystems. And then the other thing is that research is kind of behind a little bit, and there's controversies in what really works for rangelands. There's been a lot of debate about the benefits of compost application on rangelands. Does it work? Does it not work? Are there other implications, not necessarily maybe related to carbon content in the soil, but also maybe the risk of introducing weeds into different ecosystems that are coming from outside the area. People are talking so much about regenerative agriculture, but we are so behind in really evidence-based support for what regenerative agriculture can do for payment for ecosystem service or improving some of these benefits that we want to see on these ecosystems. Other one is the land size. I just put this one here, especially considering that we're talking to small parcel landowners, like who can and who cannot. How much land do you really need for it to be financially beneficial? And the last one is the price of soil carbon. In this research, we found out that what people are wanting to pay is way less than what rangers want to be paid. So that's my presentation today.